All right, hello and welcome everyone to this episode of the Business Accelerator series. This is call number 18. So, over a period of time, since maybe the last couple of years, whenever I get a sense of something that might, certain topics or certain conversations that might contribute to everyone in general, I just, especially with respect to your business or when it's about showing up, um, I just sort of bring it out here um, in the series Business Accelerator. You can listen to the previous calls. There are about 17 of them um, on my YouTube channel. Maybe I'll also be uploading this particular call on the same YouTube channel. I don't really use that channel that much, but I don't like make use of it that much. But in case it will contribute, I will forward all those details to you guys. There are a lot of topics that we've spoken about, and I wonder what this particular topic will create for you guys. Now, when it comes to showing up, or especially when you're about to choose to do something great, when you're about to really, really show up and create very dynamically, and like let's say for example, you're pitching for a particular product or a particular uh, for your business project or something, and you're just going to get that account, and suddenly it just gets taken away, or they give it to somebody else, or the client decides not to go ahead with it. So what exactly is going on here? It's somewhere where we also, by our own thought forms, keep self-sabotaging things. It's like, you start looking at, oh my God, my whole life will change if I get this, or if I start creating this much amount of money, how will I manage? So, guess what? The first thing you do is go ahead and with your thought process only, or just with your way of, over analyzing or thinking too much, you tend to self sabotage. And then you wonder what just happened. Like, things were going great, and I really, really wanted this particular project to work or this particular product to get that order for those products, but things are just gone. So what exactly is going on? So today we'll be talking a lot about all of this. I'll take on your questions. So let me start with a couple of questions, but I have a lot of information to give. So we'll focus more on the information that I want to give. But a quick talk about like how. So if I could ask you, where all do you think uh, you're self-sabotaging, or yeah. So if anyone would like to unmute and let me just mute everyone first. Okay. Now you guys can go ahead. Fear of success, Navnita. Very good. That's like I guess a fear all of us have. And yeah, we'll talk a lot about all this. Anyone else? Somebody raise their hands. Was it? You can raise your hand, you can ask a question, just unmute, talk.
It was me as oh,
Go ahead.
two people, I guess. So I raised the hand because this just happened where my organization partnered with one of the global best, and I saw my logo up there, which I didn't ask for. Right? It was just a happenstance, and then I freaked out and got into a complete, you know, rabbit hole in my head and a chaos after that. So it's been 2 days of spiraling, and a parallel project which was happening one day prior is doing phenomenally, like it's doing amazingly well, much beyond what I expected, and things are trickling in for that. But for the one that I've made it so big in my world, and where they're supposedly felicitating me and blah 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 and stuff, I have this big major imposter syndrome looming on my head, and I'm like, what happened here? So
So,
yeah, so I'm
okay,
there.
so it's interesting that you mentioned the imposter syndrome. What happens? Why does one create that, or why does one feel that uh, you're an imposter and you don't deserve all this?
Too easy, I guess. The way that it showed up was like, It took nothing. And yeah,
Yeah, I'll tell you why. So, a lot of times, when you're growing up and you're very, very potent, most of us are really potent, okay? And we have a whole lot of capacities. But the people around us, whether it's our immediate relatives or colleagues or friends or siblings while growing up, um, they will constantly keep putting you down because they'll be like, you're not good enough because they fear your potency, right? So constantly they'll keep pulling you down and making you feel as if you don't deserve anything or you're not worth it and it shouldn't come, making you feel guilty for having it too easy or for creating things just out of nowhere and really, really making you wrong for that. So you grow up thinking that you're worthless or you're not really capable enough of doing all these things, but that's not really true. So when things happen because you are a potent creator and you're able to just create, um, then you start feeling like an imposter because all throughout your life you've just grown up thinking that you're not good enough. So everything that brought up, let's destroy and create. And everywhere, each one of you are creating your lives based on all the projections, expectations, judgments, rejections, and separations based on all these points of view. Let's destroy and uncreate that too. I'm not going to be saying the access clearing statement that you guys just add on. Okay, it's not, yeah. So I hope that makes sense, right? Um, now that you're getting all that, own it, turn it up even more. The moment you start feeling like hey, I'm an imposter, things are not, I don't really deserve it. How can they put my this thing? Or even if they put up my what did they put up? Your creations, whatever it was. And if everywhere you're feeling guilty or you're being made to feel guilty by people around you because they are projecting like how is that even possible? Why the hell did they select him, right? Or his products or his creations. And when we were all here and we've been working hard and he doesn't deserve it, talking about all of that, like be willing to turn it up even more and own it. Okay. When you start seeing yourself as a valuable product, that's when people will start seeing the same, seeing you as same too. When you own, claim, and acknowledge the valuable product you are, others will start seeing your worth also. So yeah, thanks for bringing it up. It would really, I hope this conversation contributed to a lot of people too. Anything else, Praful?
no, I'm there. Goosebumps, and I'll turn it up. Thank you so much
Yes.
for bringing
Yeah,
this.
turn it up. Turn it up, absolutely. And yeah, Vandana, go ahead.
Feeling like a one hit wonder. Okay, the last project I did was fantastic. Now I don't think I can live up to that. So it's not just fear of failure, it's just lack of faith or just feeling, like
Lack of what?
faith in oneself.
Lack of faith. Okay.
But it's like, one hit wonder. I make ad films and my each film is good, but every time a new project comes, it falls through because it's very often because I start feeling, "Ki, will I be able to do such a good job? Will the team perform?" And then it just goes into a tailspin.
Cool. All right. So what exactly happens? Like when you're talking about self-sabotage, when things you're creating these things, um, mostly 99% of the time that self-sabotage is actually self-protection in disguise. So when you said like things just fall through and things don't show up, it's because sometimes you're not sure how to handle the success, you're not sure how to handle the amount of money that's showing up, you're not sure how you will manage things once things actually demands you showing up, right? So for so many years while growing up, you just sort of protected yourself or have made sure you were just in your little cocoon where nobody gets to mess with you or treat you in a particular way. So that will also mean getting out of that cocoon and showing up. And showing up at times is the most difficult thing. for a lot of people. It really terrifies a lot of people. I know I've gone through that, right? For me, flying a plane, doing all those dangerous maneuvers is no big deal. And also, like scuba diving and whatever, like you name it, and I can just do that. Climbing trees, doing what all those things is fine, right? But when it comes to actually talking to people or going on the stage, addressing a whole group of people, or just even one-on-one interaction with certain people, that used to, I mean, it used to just terrify me. I used to be so scared of that. And literally, even in school, when I was so scared to be the school captain, the house captain, and sometimes, like, because you are that, you have to go there and read. Like, I had to read the news, even though I have everything written on a piece of paper and I just have to read. But literally, my knees used to shake, right? And I remember one principal once made me read the entire news again, all over again on stage, because he's like, this time you be mindful of your knees and make sure that your knees don't shake. So just be very present, and he made me do it again, basically just to get rid of the fear. So sometimes this is what happens. But Disha, I'll just come to you 2 minutes. So self-sabotage is just self-protection in disguise, and it's like most of us will think that self-sabotage is laziness or procrastination or lack of discipline. But self-sabotage isn't really random. Okay? It's like your mind which is trying to keep you safe in the only way it knows how to. Okay, so, and that's one of the reasons why mostly maybe we tend to you tend to avoid opportunities, because even failure feels like a threat. Okay, most of us tend to push people away because deep down connections feel risky, and most of us also tend to stay small because success means stepping into the unknown. So when you realize that you are actually creating your life based on a self protection mechanism or a self defense mechanism, um, the first thing, instead of being really, like, the first thing you need to do is stop being so hard on yourself, and instead of fighting your resistance, start trying to figure out, like, what exactly are the reasons. So you think you're not good enough, you think you don't deserve it, because people have made you feel like that. Okay, and uh, they hate it when you're actually creating a lot. They don't really like it because they would like to be in that position themselves, and they see you achieving, they see you creating, and the first thought that they have is to get rid of you and take your place, right? And for that, they'll make you feel really uncomfortable, or they'll backstab you, or they'll do whatever they can to pull you down, or get into or create a very, like, a fierce competition, or be very competitive with you, and then you perceive all those energies and you're like, it's not worth uh, following all this. It's okay, you want it, take it, and you just leave way or give way to them. That's but is that doing justice to yourself? Not really, right? And what's the value of doing that? What's the value of feeding other people's back by pulling yourself away or making yourself small to make them feel good? Think about it. I will take Disha's question meanwhile. Yes, Disha, go ahead.
Hi, so thank you for all your calls because I've been like on your YouTube channel. I've been just eating your YouTube channel like anything, and all these calls have helped me so much. So thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
so Smriti, there's this fear of creating more. How will I handle so much? Because it's very overwhelming. I can create one project and I can give that energy and attention to that. But when I'm creating maybe five projects together, it's very overwhelming. And I get very fearful that how will I handle all of them? So that's the thing. Creating more together is overwhelming.
Yeah, so you know how growth is really, really uncomfortable. who said growth is going to be comfortable, right? Because you are now choosing to step out of your comfort zone. So it's like as long as you're enjoying what you're doing, that's what is important. Okay, beyond that, the moment you start worrying about, oh my God, things are so easy and I'm creating money with so much of ease, and others are suffering, or they are not having that much ease in creation of money or whatever. And then when you start tapping into the world, you start sort of creating yourself based on that because you're trying to understand. But however, coming back to where growth is uncomfortable, um, the moment you step into change, discomfort will show up. Okay. Now, and also doubt, a whole lot of doubt will creep in. So, and it's a normal tendency for each one of us, like we want to go back to what's familiar. But what you need to realize is that the discomfort is not really a red flag. Okay. It's just a sign that you're growing. So the more uncomfortable you're feeling, it's like how, consciousness tests you. It'll keep on testing you. And it's just like a sign that you're growing. Um, it's about, when you feel that kind of tension, when you're pushing yourself, but you you feel that it's like push that kind of tension. You feel that when I push myself, it isn't a proof that I'm failing, but it's proof that I'm changing. Right? So start tapping into that. So when you're pushing things, when you're pushing yourself out of the comfort zone, instead of thinking that what if I fail or things are not going, it's not easy, and there are a whole lot of things, everything that can go wrong is going wrong, just hang in there. Just trust yourself, because trusting yourself is what will actually really, really contribute to you out creating all of this. And that fear of failing, what if you realize that you're not really failing, it's just proof that you're changing and things are moving, and they'll move in the direction that you decide. Okay. So basically the stories that you tell yourself are what are going to shape your reality. Okay, like we all have a lot of narratives running in our heads. Okay, like maybe I'm not good enough, I'm too old to start over, or I always mess up things. But it's like, I won't say, okay, no, you need to think positive and you need to do this and this is, you need to change your way of thinking. I'm just going to ask you to be with that energy, be present with it, and look within and examine where these stories came from. Because as you all know, 90% of them are not even our story. So we might be picking up other people's thoughts, feelings, emotions. We might be trying to be somebody else. Like you might be trying to be like one of your parents or siblings or a friend or whatever, like just tapping into their thought process and creating yourself like that, because now you're trying to understand certain people. So a lot of times those feelings are not even yours. Those stories are not even yours. Mostly they are handed down by parents or experiences or past failures. And when I was looking at it, and it really, really hit hard, like how many of our limitations exist only because we've been repeating those limitations to ourselves, right? So start tapping into all those places, like sort of a self-examination. Like today, if somebody says something or does something and I get triggered or it triggers me, the first thing I do is look within myself and say, okay, how old am I being? Which part of me, which, uh, which unhealed part of me is triggering these reactions? So first and foremost, I start working on myself. And of course, I don't dismiss the other person. I acknowledge that, yes, they are doing this and they behaved the way they behaved. But everywhere you are allowing yourself to be triggered, first sort that out. And then you can always sort out people. right? You don't have to take it lying down, or you don't have to just go with it, okay, because so and so did something because they could. Yes, a lot of times people do things because they can get away with it, because somewhere we allow them to get away with it. So be present with all of those questions too. And also, a lot of times we don't even try things. Okay, it's like you owe it to yourself. It's like we always look at the fear of failure, but what 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 about the fear of never trying? What about the regret of looking back and wondering what could have been?
If I
So,
try.
so your dreams, your ideas, your desires, they exist for a reason. Okay, they're not random. And if you never attempt them, you're robbing yourself of the life that you could have had. So when you are like, I want to try, but I'm not able to create, or I'm not motivated enough to create something new. How much are you not even willing to? How much are you actually talking yourself out of creating? Okay, because what if I fail? So be present with all these things that I've spoken about, and the only real failure is not showing up for your own life.
Yes, thank you so
Then
much.
you're
And,
welcome.
and I want to say one thing. After doing BDD with you, just in February, earlier I was just creating this much, and now I'm actually starting to show up. And thank you. I mean, at that time, I was not realizing so much was getting cleared from me. And I mean, you are really magical. Thank you. I mean, that energy changed my life. I'm creating so much more. Of course, I'm scared right now that so much is happening. It's overwhelming. But yes, I've started to show up. So yeah, just thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So grateful. Thank you for choosing the BBD with me. Thank you. Who else has a question? Cool. So, um, when you're looking at, when you're looking at your life and um, nothing seems to be working, or you're just trudging along the same path and things are just flowing, but not in the direction that you would want them to flow. And there are a lot of roadblocks and self-sabotaging patterns that you keep creating and all. Um, you can definitely crib about it. You can complain about it. You can feel really, really bad about it. And you can blame the whole world for it. But the thing is, the actual change begins the moment you decide it does. Okay? So, no, not next week, not when you feel ready, not when the stars align, but uh, the moment you decide to pivot, to just turn things around, that's that's when you already have. That's when things will start moving in the direction that you want. That's when everything will change around. It's like, in my previous calls, I've said, like, okay, this shit ends now. This changes right now. And when you really genuinely mean that is when things turn around. Um, Long back, I was attending a call with Shannon, and I've mentioned it quite a few times here also on my calls, where she was, there was always this weird sense of unease with money. And so every time it used to be sort of a struggle, even though you have, but sometimes you're not sure. When you really require it, it's not really there. And um, that's when she was like, I'm really, really choosing to have ease with money. And whatever it takes, I'm going to have ease with money. And since then, she'll never look back. Okay. But so there were quite a few participants in that particular class, and one of them asked, like, I've also been choosing ease with money, but I always still end up getting, having issues, money issues. And she's like, the only difference between you and me is that I'm committed to having that ease, and you're not. You're just asking for it. You're just saying that you would like it, but you're not choosing it. And even if you're choosing it, you're not committed enough to choose it again and again and again, 24/7. So when you're really, really looking at changing something, you have to keep choosing it. You don't just have to say, oh, I need to do this or I will start doing this. No, you have to step into that choice. Sometimes you just literally have to step into that choice energetically, that whatever it takes, I'm choosing this and this will show up and things move. So let me give you a example. And it's amazing, like, when you're observing people and things, and these examples really stand out. And there are quite a few times when I myself have created like that, and I won't go into all of that because it's already part of so many of my calls. I've shared those instances. But the very recent instance was I was flying down to US, I and my husband, because we were going there to meet our son who's studying there. And he was doing his flight training, and my daughter's already done her flight training, right? So she had some really nice good memories of that place in Florida. And but she did not have a valid US visa at this moment. She just had the M1 visa, which was for students, and since she was already back here, she couldn't go back on that visa. So we were like, okay, I mean, it would have been nice if you could have joined, but I guess you don't have a visa. So I and my husband will be going, and that's it. So we're like, mom and dad will go, and you can stay here. And she's like, there's just no way you're going without me. And so we had applied for a visa last year in August 2024, right? And the visa date, appointment date, she had got for November 2025, and we were leaving last, like, in April we were supposed to travel. I don't know what she did. She just got in touch with a few friends and she spoke to certain people. She managed to find out some visa agents, and those guys created a visa date for her in Hyderabad. And just a week later, and suddenly she had to go there, and then she just managed to get her visa. We were literally, we had reached Delhi, and then there was another captain from some other flight, some other airline, who was flying down from Hyderabad with her passport, and we collected her passport from the airport. We had a 4-5 hours halt in Delhi before flying out to New York. Um, and so that's the time we got the passport, and then that same night we flew to US. So you see, when you really, really want something, you make it happen. How she managed all that, I have no clue. And all this while she was like, Mom, why don't you apply for the visa and this and that? And nothing was moving for her. But the day she's like, there's just no way you're going to my flying club without taking me along. That's it. That was that demand in a world that I'm going there. There's no way you can go there without me. You know? So it's just that. And so you need to see what motivates you. When things are not changing, let's take for example, there are some court cases going on, or there are some some random stuff happening with parents or family members where things are just not moving, things are very, very like there's a space of unease. And then you'll keep on cribbing about it every single day with every single person you meet. You'll be like, this is what's happening at home, or this is what's happening with my boss, or whatever. Like, there are these little things that keep irritating you, and your whole life starts revolving. Before you know it, your whole life starts revolving around these little irritants. But what you also need to realize is, where are you creating these court cases, these issues with the family, uh, or issues with the boss, or in workspace, or issues with your colleagues as a comfort zone, as an excuse to not really step up, as an excuse to maintain the the life that you're leading right now? You might be cribbing about it, but that's also your comfort zone. That's the reason you're just not willing to allow it to change. You're just being there. So be present with what's making you choose what you're choosing. Because the moment you decide, okay, this shit changes now, is when it'll change. It's like changing isn't something that happens to you. It's something that you choose. Okay. So how often have each one of you stalled your growth waiting for the right time? And what if that right time is now, like this very moment? Tap into that, choose it. If you're not happy where you are or with the choices that you've made, choose again, choose something different. If you're not happy, you're on a tree, just move, change things around. Okay. And frankly, you don't really need to know the whole plan. Okay, just the next step. Like most of us will have that, will struggle with overthinking. You know, you want certainty, you want guarantee, and uh, everything should be fine, and only then I'll step into it. But transformation doesn't come with a blueprint. Okay, it's like when you're driving in the night, at night when you're driving, you don't see the whole road. It's just what your headlights are revealing. Only that much part you can see. Okay, and that's good enough. So even when you don't wait for all the traffic lights to be green before you step out of your house. You just keep changing, pivoting as and when required when you're driving, right? When you're on your path. So you don't have to figure out that entire journey. You just have to really just take the next step and keep choosing again and again and again. So anyone else has any questions? So I can continue talking. There's lots to talk. Okay. So the life that you want is actually on the other side of the life that you're settling for. Let me say this again. The life that you want is actually on the other side of the life that you're choosing to settle with or settling for. Okay. And when I heard this, it really hurt. And in the best way, right? Like, if you want something different, you have to stop choosing what isn't working for you. Okay. We'll keep on complaining about our circumstances, but we also cling on to them like a safety net, right? Like how I mentioned that this is your comfort zone. If there is a prolonged court case going on, how much have you used that as your safety net? If you're having issues with your parents where they are being too, like sometimes they just care too much and they don't let you off the hook. So they just sort of those helicopter parents, right? So but that at times does not allow you to grow. So there can be 10,000 reasons, right? But uh, we complain about our circumstances, but we keep clinging on to them like a safety net. Okay. And the real change actually means walking away from these habits or these relationships and these mindsets that are actually keeping us small. Okay. Um, so ask yourself, what am I still holding on to out of fear? Okay. Because it can be any relationship, it can be a particular mindset, it can be fear of losing somebody or some certain things. It can be anything. But what am I still holding on to out of fear? Because frankly, the truth is we can't reach for something better while gripping on to what's actually holding us back. And I'll give you a very interesting example. Long back, and I had to deal with this very often, where I would end up having friends who would just backstab me or be a very weird energy with me. And behind my back, they were not really my well-wishers. They pretended to be my friends, and I would genuinely very, very fond of them. And I really cared a lot, but it wasn't really reciprocated. And that is something I realized much later. Okay. And sometimes, you're being something you've no idea how much that is actually sort of inspiring and motivating people. But at times it's also threatening them. It's also threatening them. So sometimes it's not that they don't care about you, but they feel threatened by you. And even though you are not doing anything to threaten them in any way, you're just being yourself, but just your presence also um, or the ease with which you're creating is also something that threatens people. right? So I have no idea what was it that was going on for them, but I did come across people where they were being a very weird energy, where they would just, you know, pass sarcastic comments, or they would backstab me behind my back. They were talking against me and doing all sorts of things. And when I realized it, now the worst thing is when you know your friends are doing this to you, and but because you care so much about them, you're dismissing your awareness, and you're like, no, I don't want to lose them. I really, really do care about them. And you keep taking that nonsense and that bullshit from them. And that's that's not really worth it. Because if you really truly cared for yourself, you would put an end to it immediately. So you keep like, I know for sure I kept holding on to these friends because I'm very fond of them and I didn't want to lose them. But I was losing myself in the bargain. And that wasn't a fun energy. And again, like there are some times when I learn lessons from my own daughter, where she was in school and then there was somebody who said something to her or which was not in good taste. And she just looked at that person right in his eyes and she just said, if you ever speak to me like this or about me like this, I'll forget that you will exist. And she was very firm. And she said this in front of her whole group. Okay. And if I was in her place, I would have maybe not even said anything because I wouldn't want to lose that person as a friend. And I would also wouldn't want my own friends to start taking sides, right? But she was willing to lose everyone, but she was willing to have her own self-respect, right? So that is something that I learned, and I was like, wow, here I am still choosing to share the room with the same friend, even though I know this friend is not my well-wisher and is plotting and planning behind my back because I don't want to lose the friendship. And I was like, it's no point having a friendship like this if it's not really contributing to you. So you need to look at all those things that you're holding on to. It might just be a job that is just dragging on, or even a certain business which is just dragging on and things are not moving, not shifting, whatever it is, or maybe certain friendships or certain relationships. If you don't find your sense of self-worth and value in those friendships or relationships or those jobs or those businesses, it's time to pivot, it's time to move, it's time to choose something different. Okay, stop self-sabotaging. That's not going to create anything. Okay, don't hold on to things because of fear. Okay, um, because we can't really reach for something better while gripping on to what's holding us back. That's not going to create anything. Okay, so that's something you need to remember. Also, one more thing, you become what you repeat. Okay, it's a very simple lesson, but very brutal. Okay, basically, you don't become what you want, you become what you do every day. So even if you think you're not good enough, but if you keep on practicing, if you keep on choosing, if you keep at it, you will create it. Okay. Um, so it's like, if uh, you want to be disciplined, but you keep procrastinating, for example, right? So now your identity will align with that procrastination. And then you'll be like, gosh, I hate procrastinating, but I seem to just constantly procrastinating. Okay. So you want confidence, but you're constantly doubting yourself. The doubt starts solidifying who you believe you are. So if you're constantly doubting yourself, you're solidifying that doubt about yourself. Okay, so ask, if you want to outcreate this, ask, what am I reinforcing with my habits? Because whether you like it or not, every action that you're taking is casting a vote for the person that you're becoming. Let me say that again. Every action that you're taking is casting a vote uh, for the person that you are becoming. Everything that is. Will you now destroy and uncreate that piece, right? Wrong, good, bad, for book. all 100 shots for his forward faces patience and I wasn't supposed to say the clearing statement, but whatever. Cool. So, any more questions? Anyone? No? Okay, cool. I also wanted to talk a little bit about the fast track your business. This is a weekly series coming up. Basically, it's a call with me every week. It's like a booster dose every Monday to just pump you up, to motivate you enough to like go ahead and create throughout the entire week. It's about everywhere you've been slowing yourself down. It's like, when you go to the gym and you're training, sometimes you really need a trainer to get after you, motivate you, to push you. Okay, now you do this exercise, you do this exercise, and so on. It's just that, literally. So this particular fast track your business would be like that. If you log on to smritigoswami.com, that will have all the details about this call. I will maybe create another call for that. But the reason I'm mentioning this is because there is a early bird pricing, which is only valid till 5th of May. If you want, I can actually just show you what the call will all be about if you want. It wasn't planned that way, so I did not really have it here right now open on my phone, but that has an early bird pricing, which is only valid till 5th of May. Otherwise, there are different pricing options available, which is like you can choose to pay monthly, or you can choose to pay like in 2 installments, or you can just pay in one lump sum. There are different pricing. The pricing is the main pricing is the one which is offered in the monthly options. But in case you're choosing to pay in two payment installments, then the price reduces a bit. And if you choose to pay lump sum, the price reduces even more, like literally 20,000 less. And in case you're choosing for the early bird, before 5th of May, that brings this down really a lot, right? Almost about 35,000 less. So that is what the class is all about. It is a call with me every week. There'll be a private Facebook group. There'll be a lot of PDFs, there'll be a lot of clearings. It's totally based on Access and it is approved by Access. I've taken permission with them. And this is something that I offer I've been offering it since past 5 years now. So every year we create this, and it is something that's really close to my heart. And maybe one of the days I'll create an intro call for that, but I'm just traveling, so I don't really have the time for this. But look up smritigoswami.com and see, and wherever you found this stuff for this to join this particular call, I'll just forward it all over there again, including this particular call recordings. Cool. So thank you so much, everyone. In case any one of you have any questions, go ahead, ask. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. And those of you who also are looking at attending a class, I have one class coming up on Monday, which is a Profit, Business and Money, which is a one-day access class, and it is only for 23,000. It's a full-day class, and it's here in Mumbai, and it's also available online. So in case any one of you are interested, it is loaded with a lot of clearings, and it's a thick manual and a lot of topics to discuss. So in case it calls out to you, just connect with me, and I'll see you there. Yes, Harishi, what were you saying? Picture.
Picture, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
go ahead.
yes. Smile, please.
I always forget to click pictures. Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll put up this recording on my YouTube channel and I'll forward the link here. Thank you. Really grateful to each one of you.
Good thing.
Bye.
Good night.